Welcome to Successful Gardener. I'm Lauren Hill with North Carolina Cooperative Extension. I'm the horticulture agent for Cabarrus County, and one of the biggest questions I get all throughout the year is about tomatoes. And the tomato growing season in North Carolina can start as early as May and run all the way through Halloween. Today we're out in a beautiful tomato patch. We've got lots of plants here to show you today. I'm going to tell you a little bit about some disease issues that I get questions about, and then we're going to talk about some tips that you can apply in your gardening situation to have the most productive tomato crop you've ever had. I don't know about y'all, but I wait all year to make a tomato sandwich, and nothing devastates me more than to see disease in my tomato crops. It happens to us homeowners in production and as well as my commercial clients. One of the biggest issues we face in North Carolina is the humidity. It gets nice and humid pretty early here, and the humidity can last until the early fall. And then when we do get rainfall, we usually get a big storm and too much rain at once, which can cause lots of issues in vegetable production, but particularly with our tomatoes. They don't love that humidity and that immense amount of rainfall all at once. It can lead to numerous disease problems, and one of the biggest diseases we face in North Carolina in tomato production is early blight, and it's one of the first ones that I get phone calls about during the growing season. Today we've got an example right here. You can see where early blight has taken effect in this beautiful tomato garden. Early blight starts out on the leaves, so it's a fungal pathogen and it ends up on the leaves from water. And so you'll see here we have some concentric rings that almost look like tree rings. And that's the telltale sign that you have early blight in your vegetable garden. But you'll also see the yellowing on the tomatoes and the wilting. This won't directly affect the fruit, but it will lessen production because it affects photosynthesis on the leaves, and the plant needs sunlight to be able to make these delicious vegetables that we like to enjoy all summer. Unfortunately, early blight isn't the only disease that affects tomatoes. Late blight, southern wilt, septoria leaf spot, and southern blight all affect tomatoes. We have diagnostic services in our extension office to help you figure out exactly what's going on with your crop. But the real thing you need to do is prevent. So we're now going to talk about some preventative tips to help you have the most successful tomato crop you've ever had. In gardening, we say an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure, and that's certainly true for tomato production. There's many simple tips that you can apply from day one of when you put your plants in the ground that can really carry you through a disease-free season. One of the best things you can do is make sure that your tomatoes have plenty of sunlight and good airflow, and you can accomplish that by trellising your tomato plants. You also want to put your tomato plants in good soil. That's essential for any fruit or vegetable production, but particularly tomatoes. You want to do a soil test. You also want to put mulch. That will help conserve moisture and keep the tomato plants happy and watered, but then it will also help prevent some of these diseases that I've discussed with you today. Another thing that you can do to prevent disease is cut off the bottom 6 inches of leaves from the plant. One of the biggest ways disease is transmitted to tomatoes is when those leaves lay on the ground and we have heavy rainfall or overhead irrigation that then splashes some of these fungal and bacterial spores up from the soil surface onto the leaves. Another great thing that you can do that's really simple is do a drip irrigation system or water just the base of your tomato plants. Keeping those leaves dry is really essential in preventing disease. These are just a few tips that you can apply in your home garden situation that will really help you get the perfect tomato. Anytime I do a children's program, kids love to try and stump me by saying a tomato is actually a fruit when we commonly eat it as a vegetable. Well, technically it is a fruit because it has seeds in the inside of it, but we consider it a vegetable in the way we prepare it in North Carolina. Then another thing that I get asked questions about frequently is heirlooms versus hybrids. So an heirloom is seed that has been passed down from generation to generation, and some of my favorite heirloom varieties of tomatoes are Cherokee Purple, German Johnson, and Brandywine. But hybrids are excellent if you have history of disease issues or if you're looking for a particular type of tomato. So a beefsteak, a Bush Goliath, if you're looking for a Golden Jubilee tomato. A hybrid tomato is when they take seeds from two different tomatoes and cross-pollinate them, and then they get a whole entirely new tomato. And this is a process that naturally occurs in nature. And a lot of these hybrids might be a little bit more disease resistant to some of the diseases that I've mentioned today. Thanks for tuning in to Successful Gardener. If you would like to reach me, you can reach me by email or phone. I'm Lauren Hill with North Carolina Cooperative Extension with Successful Gardener, and we'll see you next time.